Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Well, you might be asking what is in front of you. And what it is these bolts right here. And they're nice and shiny, pretty shiny bolts. But I don't want them to be that way. So, right now, I'm planning on painting these, but quite honestly, what you can do, instead of painting them, you could leave them like this. And you might not notice a big difference. Let's get some better light on. Hopefully you can kind of see this a little bit better. But this one's shiny and this one's kind of scuffed up. Kind of a machine finish. And quite honestly, I like that. If I wasn't doing a specific project, I might actually use these this way. Because I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's pretty cool looking. Kind of a machine look. But what I am doing is actually customizing my new box here. So go check out some videos I'll have on this, both just putting it together and doing a little bit of customizing to it, which this is part of. But I figured I'd kind of throw this in because really you can use this for any project no matter what you're doing. But I'm going to be painting these. But to paint them, you need to get yourself set up with red Scotch-Brite. This seems to be the easiest way to do it. You could use sandpaper or something like that, but quite honestly, this is just Scotch-Brite does a great job. And red, in particular, gives you tooth. Now, to paint something like this, you see a lot of people, they'll paint their nuts and bolts and things like that, but they miss the step of actually scuffing them up. And that's why later on down the road, the paint will chip off. So, just take it, and I got it on this anvil here, any hard surface, Scotch-Brite, and start sanding away. That doesn't take that long to do, but you'll notice I'm twisting it like this as I'm doing it. Just kind of going back and forth, twisting it with my fingers. Hopefully you'll notice that. And then at the end I might do a little bit of this kind of thing, or whatever I want to do for the finish. But basically, you just don't want any shine on the top of this. You want this to be completely dull and machined looking. It's just basically what it is. You're machining the head of this basically and taking off that top layer so the paint can stick, because paint needs to have some sort of tooth. And you're going to go through and do all your bolts, whatever you have, and then if you want to set yourself up with something like this, put some holes in a box. I use this punch right here, punch a hole in there, that gives you a hole, you stick it in. That way you're not painting all the threads and gumming them up, and it holds it well. You can get to all the sides. I would say I actually probably put these a little close. I started putting them further away up here. In fact, I might take a few of these and put them more up here, because it's harder to get around the edges, and there is a bit of an edge around all these, so I want to make sure I get all those. But regardless, this is the best way to paint your bolts. You can do the same thing with nuts, but I don't want to take the time, and the nuts are on the inside usually where you can't really see them, so I'm not dealing with the worrying about those. So once you're done doing that, you take, and I got a just rattle can primer. You can use whatever you want. There are some primers out there, or paints out there, that say they'll paint over bare metal. I'm not a big fan of a lot of those. I don't know if they're an etching. It depends on, the better and more money you spend on paint products, the better and it's going to turn out. Quite honestly, I've had pretty good luck spraying, this is just cheap spray can primer on them, letting that dry, scuffing them up a little bit, and then shooting them with whatever color I want. So that seems to work for me. I've been doing this kind of stuff for a long time, and yeah, you'll have the few that it might still flake off of because you didn't use more expensive products. If you want to go out there and buy some etching primer and do all that, and then actually buy automotive, put it in a spray gun and paint them with those, that'll probably last on something like this forever. It is the best way to go, but most people aren't going to go out and spend that much on it. But at least take the time, the little bit more time and effort it's going to take to scuff these up like this. That I promise you will make these things last way, way longer. You won't have scuffing or chipping or problems like that. So I sprayed the primer on. I've let it dry for a while. I used a heat gun because it's a little bit cold in here. Now I'm taking the red Scotch-Brite. Now this is where you want to use probably a gray Scotch-Brite or even 400 grit sandpaper, something like that. For what I'm doing, I don't really care, and I don't have any gray Scotch-Brites or 400 grit sandpaper right now. So I'm just going to take these and I'm just lightly scuffing them. Just kind of going over the tops of them. I'm not even pushing down hardly at all. And if you don't want, you want to try not to go through where you see shiny or metal. Okay. And blow it off. And we're going to paint. And yet again, I'm going to throw the heat gun on it for a while before I paint them, just so they're nice and warm. Dries the paint a little bit. I'm going to shake up the paint. Now normally you wouldn't want to spray them that thick, but because these are on a box and sitting flat, you don't have to worry about running so much, so you can get a little bit thicker coat on them and get more edges. Kind of just spray them at all different angles. Shoot them this way and that way and that way and this way. And sooner or later you'll get them all looking pretty good. A side note here from painting these, I tell you what, and this is pretty much all just light coming from outside. That is dead on nuts to the blue for this Harbor Freight. So if you have one of these blue Harbor Freight toolboxes, this is what I used. It's Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2X Ultra Cover Paint and Prime Gloss Deep Blue. And I'll be honest, I've had this can in my garage. It's been a full can. I don't even remember what I bought it for, or if it was given to me or something that was in my mom's stuff that I brought over here when we did stuff that my dad had in his garage. I honestly don't know where I got this from, but if it's still out there, that is, I mean, it's almost as if they actually took this paint and painted this with it, because it just does not, I mean, I'm impressed by how well this is, by eye too. I mean, camera doesn't do justice for it. It is dead on exactly I mean, if this was a car color and that was the car, I would rattle can it no problem with this, because that is dead on. Anyhow, thought I'd throw that out there for those of you that have the blue box. Unfortunately, if there's anybody out there that has the green box and knows a really good color match for the green box, I would appreciate that, because when I'm done here, I'm going to be looking for something to paint all the rest of my toolboxes at some point, so it'd be nice to know. So leave a comment below, please. And if you want to see how these look finished and painted and done, go check out my US General toolbox videos. I'll probably have several of them. First one will be of me probably introducing it, and then the next one will be of me putting this thing together, one or the other. Anyhow, go check out those videos. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. And thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and I'm a master of none. You all have a good one.